Ken Collins on the Results for You Leadership Show, where we use the foundational leadership model to bring you tips, advice, tactics to help you become a great leader in your organization. How are you doing this week, Ken?
I'm doing outstanding, Don. Thanks for asking.
Excellent. And for those of you who are new to the show, each week we begin the show with a section called Walking the Floor, where Ken gives us an update of what he's learned interacting with clients and customers in the past week. So what have you been noticing, hearing, and seeing in the last week?
Yeah, and I think I'd like to clarify something there. So walking the floor can imply getting up out of your office and walking down the corridor. But I have found over the years the most important things a leader can pick up is getting outside the building and connecting with what's going on in those external realities, whether it's directly with the business or not. And so in this past week, I had made sure that I carved out time to visit one of my longtime mentors. And so I looked very forward to this. Al and I have been in a mentorship role for years, both personally and professionally. And I think that's a key when you talk about mentors. If you're going to add significance as a mentor, it's 360. It's not just helping you with career growth. And that is really genuinely what my relationship there has had. But then also, too, I found myself in a couple of mentoring roles. Cool. And so as I did that and knew we were going to do the show today, I thought, okay, what can I deliver our viewers that would be helpful there? And I would like to cover 4 things that are important and essential to the value of having a mentor. One is, and most importantly, a mentor lends an ear. So a mentor isn't dominating conversation, but the mentor is deep in listening, deeply understanding what are the things the mentoree is chosen to talk about. Number 2, the mentor doesn't judge or share experiences to answer the questions that the mentoree is having. There's a mindset of and an encouragement of, I want you to be yourself. I don't want to give feedback so that you find the result or outcome like I did, but I want you to find your way because that is going to be the best way. Number 3, and Al has been pretty influential here, and I think this is maybe the big one of the 4, and that is a really good mentor who brings value to you and deep value, will place bets on you before you're willing to place those bets on yourself. Yeah, they see more in you that maybe you can see, and they see more capacity and. And so they work to create that awareness and maybe build confidence there. Not maybe, erase that word. They build confidence there. Mm-hmm. And then lastly, 4th, a mentor too then empowers in a way that a lending hand, supportive hand is extended. And here's what I mean by that. Al would always end mentoring conversations like this. So Ken, if you ever get stuck or need some guidance, you know where to find me. That is implying go get them, not I'll help you get through all this, but go get them. You may need to come find me, you may not need to come find me, but there's a safety net. And so I also find myself today when I'm mentoring others, and I did yesterday and on Friday, is those were 4 key things that I offered to my clients that they become very appreciative of. A listener, allow me to be myself, bet on me, and then be a safety net.
That's really, I think there's some just amazing insights in there as you start to think about it. We both had the experience of having good mentors assist. One of the questions I have, is sometimes when people come to us and look for us to mentor, I'm going to ask you kind of a tactical question, but when it comes to lending an ear, like what are some of the things that you do as guys tend to want to be solution oriented, and they'll tend to spit out answers, do this, and I've learned this by having 3 daughters, is sitting back and saying, tell me more, and kind of resisting that urge. But what can you tell us about, tips on that in terms of becoming an active an engaged listener and not just spitting out solutions?
That is a great question, Don, because instinctively that happens, whether you're a guy or a gal. We move to solutions. So here's how I calibrate myself when I start, and I did this today. I start out by saying, well, you already know I'm not going to tell you what to do. So I'm telling the mentoree that, but I'm telling myself that to start the process. Then I have to be highly engaged in listening. So once it starts to unfold, I'm listening. But I'm also have an awareness that I'm going to move to solutions. And Ken, stop right there because you could miss important things. Keep listening. And so this awareness and this process to hold back solving the problem or the solution or becoming the Google person is highly important, because then I also remind myself this helps the person critically think, and that's more important than giving the answer.
Love that. Yeah, and I think that's a skill that we can practice, as you said, and a great mentor helps you in every area of your life, not just one area, because they're all interconnected. But I think that's something that we can all practice at home, with our friends, is just being, okay, be quiet and just listen. And then I think one of the other things that you've mentioned to me in the past, and I've heard from other folks as well, is really thinking about, well, why are they asking that question to begin with? Or why are they talking about this to begin with? Because sometimes what somebody's talking about, if you allow them to dig, they'll find what the real problem is, the root of the problem is, and then they can come up with their own solution.
It is always intriguing to me, whether I'm one-on-one or in groups, I pay attention to what people choose to talk about, because that is signaling the level of importance to that person. And then I laser focus on what's behind all that. So to your point.
Excellent. Well, great tips. So mentoring is lending an ear, not judging, but or sharing the experiences, but really listening as part of that, helping to steer people on their own individual path, that placing their bets and teaching people or letting them know in a mentoring relationship that you're seeing things ahead of time and you're actually placing the bets, and people are believing in you. And then that empowering, supportive hand. Sounds like some great insights and advice.
And it's a pretty simple process. So keep that in mind and work through it, and you'll find great success.
Now, in the next section, we are sharing our resource of the week. So you've got a pretty intriguing resource that you shared with me. And at first, I was expecting something a little bit different when you started telling me what it was. So I wonder if anybody else in the audience will experience that as well. So what are you sharing with us this week?
Yeah, Don, last week we talked about 'tis the season, not only deer hunting in Wisconsin, but this is strategic planning season for a lot of businesses, those that do that process. And so because I've done that process for many years, this time of year I have my antenna extra high, looking for information that will give me insight about where things are going tomorrow and in the future. That's what good leaders do. They keep one hand on today, the other one on the future. And I stumbled across an article in Fast Company. And the title of the article is 7 Skills Managers Will Need in 2025. So there I'm intrigued. Uh-oh, that's the future. I got to see where this is going, and how do I help align other businesses? How do I help align results for you? Because we're going to be doing our strategic planning here on December 8th. And that way I can be an added resource for companies as well. And so this is actually column 2 in my foundational leadership and strategy. And so I won't go into detail, but I want to mention a couple of these skills in 2025. One is probably obvious, but technology management skills. So the rate of change due to technology is at a pace that will only accelerate. And so we're going to have to be real keen on how all those things interact and weave into our businesses. So I don't think that's a surprise at all, whether it's workplace roles or data management or analytics. I'm sure that's not going to go away, and things like that. The next skill was out-centric leadership skills. And what that essentially is being less egocentric and less about this, hey, I'm the leader, you better listen to me and do what I say. This is going to be more about focusing on developing people and the teams around them. It's not about me, it's about you. And helping them understand their active and valued contributions. And so I don't think this is revolutionary. I think this is taking place in the business right now. And what's driving that is the millennial workforce is desiring this quite a bit, wanting to work together in groups. The third skill that I came across was soft skill assessment. So effective managers and leaders are going to have to be as good at evaluating candidates and employees for soft skills as they will technical skills. And so this all goes into this critical thinking, creative problem solving, spotting others with those abilities for soft skills, so that you can stay abreast in emerging tools. And what they say in here too, Don, so I do a lot of DISC assessment, personality styles, but assessments in general on soft skills are going to elevate in determining future candidates in your business, but also developing your employees. So this assessment thing is getting legs. The next one and the last one in here that is really interesting and has been evolving over time, it's role focus, capital R, capital O, capital W, capital E. And it's an acronym for results only work environments. And there's a lot of changing dynamics now with how the globe is getting so diverse. We're getting more spread out with technology, and we have more employees off-site than in-site. And so the way we measure productivity and outcomes isn't, hey, turn in your timesheet. I want 8 for 8, I want 40, I want, but it'll be more about, here's the outcomes and results I want. I don't care how you get there and when you do it, but just deliver at the time we need it. And so there's a couple things moving there. Yeah, one, the model of I need all my employees under my roof so I can monitor if they're working or not, and all those other things is going away. That allows too a balance in workforce freedom and flexibility to take care of the many things everyone's trying to take care of with regard to their own personal lives and things like that. Oh, and Don, I'm sorry, I did have one more on here, and maybe I forgot it on purpose because I just take it for granted. Transparency. You are going to have to be very good at not being close to the vest, but being genuine and transparent to who you are and open. Not this hierarchical, I'm at the top, you're down here, stay away from me, or my door is closed, don't bother. You are going to have to embrace and engage people, because the more transparency and the more genuine you are, the more engaging the employees are going to want to be and want to run through block walls for you, and. And so again, this hierarchy of top down is collapsing, I think, in all of this, what we're trying to say.
I can firmly echo that. So for those of you who are newer to the show, I teach at a major university, usually juniors, seniors, and graduate students. And in my almost 20 years of teaching, I have seen those shifts where exactly what this article is talking about, that the mindsets of how the students want to be taught, how they engage, what their expectations are fitting all of those beautifully. So I'm intrigued to check out that article myself, because those are the people that are at these places like the university where I teach, who are going into the workforce and are going to be, by 2025, they're going to be 30 years old, and they're going to be in positions where they're going to be leading, and they're going to have expectations to bring the things along that they grew up with. And so it's really, really intriguing. So we will make sure to link to that article in the show notes for you to check out. And the last section of the show is our tool tip of the week. So tool tip of the week is...
we're going to talk about what are the qualities of a good mentor. So we're going to do this twofold. One is, if you are in a mentorship role, what are the qualities people are looking for? And this may validate or not. But also too, if you are a mentee looking for a mentor and you're trying to see best fit or what should I be looking for, I think this will help you identify some of the qualities or traits of someone who could be suited as a good mentor. So you ready to rock, Don?
I'm ready. I want to hear them.
I like things simple, so it's going to be simple. You ready?
Let's go.
All right, number one, proximity. What I mean by that is be available. Outstanding quality of mentors, they're available. I was walking through a coaching session this morning and there was some disappointment because the mentor is very busy with a lot of strategic initiatives and is running so fast, it's hard to catch up to him. And so you want to make sure that you're balancing things to get done with being available to people who are looking for guidance and support and direction sometimes. Number two, we just hit on it in Fast Company, so I'm not surprised it's number two, but authenticity.
Mm-hmm.
These can be very deep, personal, protected environments with a mentor. And so you have to demonstrate consistency, transparency, and genuinity, because this is essentially a safe zone you're creating. And the safer the zone is, the more transparent both parties are in the exchange, and now you get down to the root of matters and deep issues and things like that. And so that's why that's important. Number three, respect. So you don't just say, hey, you're my mentor and I'm going to mentor you, respect me. So respect is earned. They're simple there. And here's what's cool about a mentoring relationship. So respect is gained at an accelerated rate when there's difficult ground. So typically, Don, in a mentorship relationship, you're usually addressing challenges that are being faced. So your opportunity to build respect and depth in the relationship is really big here. It's really big. Yeah, you're going to issues. So it's not so much when things are going well, but when the chips are down, how did people respond to you? So that's where it can be pretty significant there. The next one is, and you heard me talk about Al on this, but belief. So a good mentor believes in them before they believe in themselves in the beginning. And Don, what's interesting too, and I found this to be very effective, what I want viewers to take away here. Think of belief as a loan. And early in the process with a mentor, put the belief on loan, give it right away. You may be surprised what a jolt of confidence that brings to somebody, mm-hmm. and trust them with it. So that's kind of the mindset. If I put it on loan, you got it. Now go do something with it. If I got to reel it back in, I know how to, yeah.
Yeah.
So I would ask people to think about that. The next one would be stretching. And what I mean by this is a mentor is willing to give others the microphone and the stage. And that will allow the individual the opportunity to be greater potentially than their capacity or how they view their capacity. Most mentors have been in front of the curtain most of their career, or maybe a longer duration, and love the curtain, in front of the curtain. They got to be comfortable behind the curtain and not suffocate. The next one is empowerment. So I'm just going to make one statement on empowerment, and it'll tell you whether you're getting good empowerment or not with the person you're working with. When you have truly empowered someone is once you've given a directive or a task, you don't even think about it again.
That's great.
So let me help with that, just clear that up. So Al, who's been significant to me, on a number of occasions, I would follow back up with him on something we talked about, and I had to go execute. When I'd say, hey, Al, I'm just touching base and giving you an update, thought I would share, and I would give him the update, and I would generally get a response like this: oh, that's right, I forgot about that. I'm glad you had that success. Now, knowing Al, I'm not so sure if he just said that or he knew what message he was sending back there, but that's pretty big. And then there's two more, Don. The next one is networking. And I do this quite a bit to myself within the business, but who do you know that I should know to your mentor? Because the more you can bring the mentee on your level, the bigger chance they have to gain the respect you have with peers, but also too, they gain additional fresh new insight from other potential mentors. So I don't think it's important to have a mentor, but over a lifetime, have a fleet of mentors. You can never have too many. And then last but not least, platform. A good mentor will say, okay, here's the microphone, here's the stage. Now stand on my shoulders. A mentor will find that platform and say, stand on my shoulders. I want you to be higher than me. I want you to look farther than me. And I want you to be more than me. And then cheerlead your rear end off for the person. So there you have it, Don.
Excellent. So those are all things that, whether we're in a mentoring relationship now or looking to pursue one, which I highly recommend you have somebody or a group that you can have help you along the way, whether you're in the mentor position or the mentee. So it's really, really valuable points to think about. And the cool thing is, if you're in the mentee position, these are tips that you can think about, because my experience having been mentored is one of the best things to do is to pass that mentorship along and become a mentor to somebody else, to help build up other people the way people have built you up. So great tips and insights. So when it comes to thinking about, processing and thinking of the ways through, the idea of finding a mentor, connecting with a mentor, being a mentor, one of the things that Results4You does offer is we do offer coaching services. So if you want to check out the website, Results4YouLLC.com, the number 4, Results4YouLLC.com. You can check out our coaching services. And if you're finding the show of value, we'd appreciate if you'd share it out, because we're trying to build up a big, huge, massive fleet of great leaders in our industry. Thanks so much for joining the show this week. We'll see you next week, Ken.
See ya.